Are we live? We're live. We're live. Oh, StreamYard took a moment. Either that or my internet or something slowed that down. But it says we are live now. So welcome to Sunday morning, Melbourne time. I hope so far you've enjoyed your bacon and eggs, or maybe it's your fakin' and eggs. Hopefully that's all you're faking this morning. I am Aileen Day, joining you here Sunday morning as we usually do, unless I get the opportunity to go and live a value-driven life, which, happens occasionally. And for those of you who have not clicked on our lives before, I am the owner of Meraki Business Solutions and Value Driven Brand. And we join you here today. I say we, I join you. Well, I guess my son's in the lounge room, but, I join you here today to talk to you about all things customer service. So, well, maybe not all things, but most certainly the priorities that you need to take into account when you are going to train your team, your employees, the people who make your business a brand, all things customer service. So to give you a little bit of a snapshot as to who the hell am I and who am I to teach anybody about customer service, I actually, this just came to mind. I just wrote a chapter in my new book, The Joy of Sex. And for those of you who have not joined us before, I'm not talking about when a person loves another person type sex. I'm talking about the joy of customer, employee, and human experience sex. I just finished writing a chapter in that book about how myself and another guy, George, were actually the first people in all of Bunnings Australia to receive what was called a gold customer service pin. And I was reflecting on how when customer service pins were introduced into the business, you basically had to receive a piece of feedback from a customer, and it had to be quite glowing. And if it was, above and beyond kind of the average expectations of customer service, which by no means were actually average, because you're working for Bunnings and they claim, their claim to fame is that they have the best service, not just okay service, but the best. So you had to deliver better than the best. And if that was the case and you were recognized by a customer, you received a tiny little bronze hammer pin to put on your apron. And then for every 5 bronze pins, so that's every 5 pieces of glowing feedback, you had to return those 5 bronze pins and you received 1 silver pin. And then for every 5 silver pins you received, you finally received a gold pin. So myself and George George was one of the oldest team members in Australia as well. And he was the plumber. And him and I were the first to reach a gold pin status. So I think I did the maths the other day. I think that was something like, it was more than 25 pieces of feedback, something like that. It might have been more. I don't do math. It's not my thing. I do people. I don't do math. But we had to write a letter to those in leadership at the time and explain to them why we were so deserving of this not yet rewarded to anybody in the company prestigious gold pins. And to be honest, I was actually really angry. My ego went boom. Who the fuck do you think you are asking me to explain why I deserve this tiny little gold pin? I'm stood there and I was 21. young, 21, and stood there and said, "Didn't they read any of the feedback?" It's pretty self-explanatory. But the point of that story is that I fucking love customer service. I love it. I always have. It's always been something that I have been passionate about. I love seeing people get what they want, and come in with an idea or some inspiration and helping them walk out with exactly, if not something better than that again. So yes, I bloody well deserved that gold pin. I wore it with pride. Every store I ever went to after that, people would be like, "Ooh, ooh," and I'd be like, "Yes, that's right." So in answer to that question, that's why I get to help you understand what it takes to train great customer service. But that's just one aspect. The other part is that it ended up being my job. I ended up being the leader of customer service for all of Australia and New Zealand for Bunnings and then later on Officeworks. So if you get a great customer service experience at any of those businesses, you're welcome. If it's shit house, then, by all means let me know, but it probably isn't my fault. I'm joking. I haven't been there for a long time. Things have changed. But I know that it is still one of their highest priorities, is to always be working and innovating on how to deliver that unique customer service experience. So for you in business, here's the beauty. You don't have to be Bunnings. You don't have to be Officeworks. You don't have to be a big business to be the bomb diggity at delivering customer service. You really don't. And ultimately, the customer service that you deliver as a business will help you probably the fastest of nearly anything, next to maybe your product, become a brand, become a trusted, valued brand, valued and trusted brand. So there's a couple of things that I want you to consider. If you're in the position where you need to start scaling, recruiting new team members, growing your business, and I don't really care what your business is, to be honest. If you have a customer-facing team, then it could be over the phone. It could be on site. It could be via a virtual, Zoom, whatever platform you want to call it. There needs to be an element of understanding of how to deliver a service that your customers value. Because if I can't deliver a valued service experience, then the likelihood of my customers coming back is practically nil. The only reason I've found in my research that they do come back is because they have absolutely zero other option, which ultimately only resides to resentment. Like they start to actually hate you because they have no other choice but to put up with a bad customer service experience. So I always say, I love that customers come back to businesses and help them become, bigger and better, but don't be the business who has return customers just because there's no other option. So if you are the only option in what you deliver or where you deliver it, be the best. Be better than the best, right? There's so many opportunities to find out what the best do and then be better again. We talk about best practice, and really all best practice is you keeping up with the Joneses. That's what best practice is. And for some of you, that might be a really good thing, that you can get yourself up to a level of the Joneses. Maybe you implicitly, internally know you could do better, but you don't know how, or you don't know where to go. Well, getting up to the level of the Joneses might be a good way to get there, or a good place to kind of aim for, but that's not where you stop. So what do you need to help your team understand implicitly the meaning of customer service, how to deliver it, and how to always get better at it? Well, the first thing that you need as the leader of that business of the people, of the customers that you want to keep within your business, you need to understand the journey that you want those customers to go on. So we've talked previously in these Go Lives about creating a customer experience journey map. And the point of that is so that you can very, very, very clearly understand every single touch point that your customer is going to experience when they work with your brand, whether it's directly or indirectly, whether it's with your team front facing or with components of your business behind the scenes, right? To be honest, I'm sure you could personally think of an experience where you've had a really great interaction with the human, but the systems behind the human really let that experience down. And if you're aware of those touch points, you're already on your way to mitigating that being a consistent experience. A one-off is fine because then you can go decompartmentalize it. That's a big word for a Sunday morning. And then go and resolve it, innovate to make sure it doesn't happen again. So the step that you need to take first is to understand implicitly every touch point your customers are expected to take and every touch point that your team are expected to deliver an element of customer service within it. The second thing that I want you to take into consideration when you're teaching your team how to deliver customer service is really their will to deliver customer service. I'm certain all of us have worked with somebody who has said, I fucking hate people. Do not put me in front of people. In fact, one of my best friends used to work for Kmart. He said, if you force me to talk to people, I will quit. But if you want me to stack shelves and make this place look like the Taj Mahal of Kmart's, I'm your guy. And that's exactly what he did. But the point is, when you're recruiting, if you know that that person in some way, shape, or form is going to have to be front-facing with a customer, is going to have to be responsible for delivering a customer experience, then please make sure they have the will and the capacity to want to be in front and deal with other human beings. Because as humans, we are a diverse and weird bunch of people. Some of us are wonderful and amazing, and some of us are just not that. And for as long as I've been in customer service, I will be the first person, probably not the only, I'm sure, but the first to actually say that the customer is not always right. But it is your team's job and therefore your role as the leader to help them know when to navigate or how to navigate those situations. And if they don't have the will and the capacity to create a human experience every time you come up against one of those less than desirable customers, shit's going to hit the fan. Like, that's the hard truth. You know, in the reality, you'll probably end up finding yourself either in the media or in the small claims tribunal. So whoever you hire, find out before they get the job if they have the will and the capacity to be around human beings and to deliver a customer service that your customers are going to want to come back for over and over and over again, right? The third thing that I want you to consider is how you train them. And I have burst out laughing so many times when I see the different ways that companies try to train their team in delivering customer service. It's so bad. It's actually really, it's terrible. It's so terrible. But that's my opinion. That's my perception. And the thing that I want to impart on you is that everybody learns in different ways. So it's really important that you don't shortcut this shit, right? Be really intelligent about the fact that you are working with human beings. You have to create a human experience. Not sure what that means? Well, that certainly doesn't mean write a document and put it in front of your new team member and have them read it and then expect them to understand how to go off and deliver a loyal, trusted, value-driven customer service experience. Because that won't work. If you were, however, to go and put some energy into your efforts of training your team, you might think about the way humans take information in. So humans are insanely visual, right? Insanely, like eyeballs tell us so much more than reading words, right? So images, videos, the best people learn through doing, right? Actual doing. So, the old adage, practice makes perfect. Absolutely. Get them into customer service situations and practice delivering a customer service experience. Have them be buddied up with somebody else who is really good at customer service so they can see for themselves what it looks like in real life. The other option prior to that is to film your team doing exactly what you want them to do in a customer service situation. And you might even go to the point of role-playing situations where the customer actually ends up being really not happy. Because what you're doing is you're preparing them for a successful customer service experience. Now, there's been plenty of times I've gone into a business ropeable, like utterly ropeable. But I'm not ropeable at that particular team member that has now got to deal with me. I'm ropeable at maybe something that's occurred or, something that's happened prior to me getting there. But now I need to get off my ass and get in there and talk to somebody about it to fix it. Now, you don't want that team member who's about to cop my wrath to be unprepared in how to manage that situation. So as nice as it is to teach your team how to deliver a sweet, lovely, value-driven customer service experience, I also want you to teach them how to manage conflict, right? Because I, unfortunately, have seen some businesses go too far with the whole fake empathy. I've seen other businesses go the complete other side, and they have taught their team to not apologize, to not buy into the emotion, to not show empathy, to not sympathize with the customer, whether it was the brand or the business's fault or not. I'm going to tell you, in legal terms, you are allowed to say sorry. It just makes you a good human. What I would then caveat that with is you are apologizing for the way they feel about the experience, right? You are not apologizing on behalf of a person or a situation, or you're not admitting fault, which so many businesses think that if their team say, I'm so sorry about how you're feeling, they think that's you admitting fault. You're not. You're showing human empathy. But if you're not sorry, please don't say it, because you'll probably just piss off the customer even more because it just comes off as fake. But understanding how to manage those conflicting situations in a way that doesn't flare up the situation even further and helps the customer remain, or at least come back to a level of calm, a level of centeredness, and you don't walk away looking any worse than you already do in the eyes of the customer, right? I mean, look, to be honest, I've had customers throw 4-litre cans of paint at my head, at my feet, 1-litre can of paint at my head. Nearly got me. That was a mess. But I've had other cans of paint thrown at my legs. I've had customers try and punch me. I've had team members try and punch me, actually. Oof, that was a day. But the reality is that you need to help your team understand the diversity of customers that they're going to experience. And what I'd really, really implore you to do as the leader of your business is either yourself or with a trusted team member, debrief those situations. And what I mean by debrief is after every situation, especially when they're learning, I want you to talk to them and say, all right, Aileen, so you just served that customer and they said this. What was the reason that what was the result? Or what was the result of that customer service experience? And I will say, well, they got what they wanted, but the product was out of stock. Okay, well, what's the reason? I don't know. Okay, well, what's the response? What can you do about it? Well, I didn't, but I guess next time I could maybe call a team member from that department and maybe pre-order them some. As opposed to just serve that customer and hope for the best. Do you see the difference? So when you debrief situations with your team, what you're doing is you're creating a learning environment. Now, practice does make perfect, but practice only makes perfect if you understand the situation and how to respond to it, either better again, differently, or if it was amazing, the same. You know, we always talk about, oh, what could we change? Well, sometimes we don't need to change shit. Sometimes we just need to be as cool as that. But if you don't reflect, if you don't debrief, how do you know what you did well? And you could potentially go and change something that needed not to be changed at all. We don't need to change for change's sake. We change for innovation, not for change's sake. So the 3 things you need to do: you need to understand as the leader of that business, what is the customer touch point that every customer is going to experience, and what part do your team play in those touch points? What does it look like? What's the vision for every piece of touch point that you have in your business? What do you want the customer to think and feel at every touch point of the business? And a really beautiful, simple analogy example is I go to my local bakery in the morning for coffee, and like many bakeries or coffee places, they know my name, which is always hilarious because it's not like I have a simple name. They know what coffee I drink. They know my son's name. They are interested in what I've got going on for the day, and they create this human customer experience where I don't feel like I'm just getting a coffee and getting out. I feel like I'm interacting with people that care about me, people that want me there, right? Because the thing that you want to impart on your customers is that you want them, that they're not a nuisance. You know, if I walk into one more retailer and I ask somebody for help and they roll their eyes, I might just lose my bananas. I have a very low tolerance for poor customer service. You could probably imagine. Because it's not hard. It's not hard to be a good human being. It's actually very simple. So if you work in business, in retail, if your job is customer service, even if you didn't want to serve customers, but you got put there anyway, please don't be a prick. Just go, hey, yeah, it's over there. No worries, great. Sometimes I actually don't expect customer service, but I certainly don't expect someone to roll their eyes at me, right? Don't do that. If once you understand your customer journey and your touch points, then you need to figure out how does your team take in information. Remember, doing is always the most appropriate way of learning. To debrief, right? And when I say debrief, we're going to talk about the result. the reason, and the response. Do we need to change anything for the next opportunity? Do we need to keep it the same? What was good about it? What could we do better? Then, once you have those in place, you are certainly on your way to taking your business and turning it into a value-driven brand. Because people will want to come back for more. People will appreciate the fact that you make them feel wanted. People will love the fact that you connect with them, that you understand them, that you relate to them, that you care about them, and they will feel it. And when they feel it, they will tell everybody else. And then, my friends, you have just created an advocate. You may as well put some less money into your marketing budget because they just started doing your marketing for free. But don't do those things, and you'll certainly continue spending plethoras of cash, wasting money on customer acquisition for them to come in and experience a poor customer service experience and then have to get a new customer to do it all again. So don't waste your time. If you say in your mind, I'm so busy, I can't find the time to come up with a training package. I don't have the time to teach people how to serve customers. Well, my question is, do you have the money to keep finding new customers to just bring them in and piss them off? Do you have the time to continually recruit new team members? Because you didn't set up the expectations and the right ways to train and modes to train your team on how you want your customers to think and feel about your business. So let's reframe this. I want to take the time to train my team to be the best they can be in customer service. I want to take the time to teach them what it means to work in my brand. I want my customers to feel wanted. And I want to spend less money on customer acquisition just to have them leave again and spend more money on customer acquisition and recruitment because my team get pissed off and upset and they leave. Or I appropriate the blame for a poor customer service experience on them when I, as the leader, didn't do my job properly in the first place. So let me hold you to account. Let's reframe. Let's put our energy into the long game. Let's teach our team how to deliver a fucking brilliant, best in show customer service experience so that your business becomes that trusted, value-driven brand that you know you deserve to have, that your customers deserve to have. So if you need help with customer service, I will even flash you my gold pin if I have to. That's my that's my certification. A gold pin in customer service. Oh God, I'm hilarious. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to flash you my gold pin. You're just going to have to trust me. But if you do need help in understanding what your customer service strategy and execution should look like, how you should train it, how you should deliver it, how you should measure it. Oh my God, that's going to be another live. How to measure customer service. Motherfuckers, have I got some stories for you? Anyway, that's another day. So yes, if you need help, you know where to find me. And if you want to know more, please reach out. The guessing game takes too long. There are plenty of resources out there, certainly, but at the very least, certainly get in touch and just ask me the question, where do I start? And I'm happy to point you in the right direction, depending on your business and what you're trying to achieve. So that is it from me today. Those are the priorities when it comes to training customer service in your business. I am, as always, looking forward to catching up with you all again next Wednesday. Wednesday? Hump day. I'll be back. And until then, I'm going to go off and investigate the status of PS5s. I cannot wait. And plan my week so that I am on top of it and ready for success. Till Wednesday, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Go forth, be successful, provide value to somebody else in your life, because what goes around comes around. Until then, I am Aileen Day. Catch you later.